Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
The holidays start here at Kroger with a variety of options to celebrate traditions old and new. Whether you're making a traditional roasted turkey or spicy turkey tacos, your go-to shrimp cocktail, or your first Cajun risotto, Kroger has all the freshest ingredients to embrace your traditions. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
We've locked in low prices to help you save big store-wide. Look for the locked in low prices tags and enjoy extra savings throughout the store. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, it's Christine from Storyworthy. Today on the show, comedian and writer Katie Love talks about growing up a Jehovah's Witness.
He had noticed me in the congregation before. It was the first time that he got to sit down and talk to me. So we started chatting, and after that, we started quasi-dating. But here's the funny thing about dating as a Jehovah's Witness. It's not really dating. If you hold hands as a Jehovah's Witness, your next step in their mind is fornication. So you better get married. I was married to one of the sons of an elder in the Jehovah's Witness congregation when I was 16 years old.
Today on the show, writer and comedian Katie Love talks about the Jehovah's Witnesses, getting married at 16, and then leaving the cult. Stay close.
Hey, my name is Katie Love, and you're listening to Storyworthy.
Welcome to Storyworthy. My name is Christine Blackburn, and I'm coming to you from Los Angeles, California. Whether you're a longtime fan of the show or a new listener, welcome to Storyworthy. I hope you guys enjoyed the show last week, which was a live episode of Story Smash, the storytelling game show from Saturday, November 23rd. Holy cow. What a blast. It's definitely worth listening to with Wendy McClendon-Covey, Danny Zucker, Blanca Patch, and we just laugh our butts off. I know you guys are going to love it. So go back, listen to Story Smash from last week. But not today, you guys. Stick around now because today I'm bringing you a story from author Katie Love. Katie is a comedian and also the author of the book 2 Tickets to Paradise, From Cult to Comedy. And that's the story she's going to be talking about today. It is a really good one about growing up Jehovah's Witness. Yeah, totally nuts. I love it. The other good news going on, of course, is that Trump is in court and we are seeing we're seeing accountability. And isn't it a treat, ladies and gentlemen? It's really a treat. And to show my daughter that there are consequences is really exciting. So I hope as I speak that this is holding true. And this isn't even the criminal trials. This is just simple civil cases. This one's about money. So it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying listening to the news. All right, you guys, you're going to love Katie Love. Please follow Katie over on Instagram at Katie Writer Love, and she will be happy to send you a book, I'm positive. I read it. It was fast and easy, and I think you guys will love it too. So again, you can head over to storyworthypodcast.com and join my mailing list. Isn't that fun? And follow me on X, you heard me, on Instagram and on whatever the hell I'm on. I know I'm on Blue Sky, whatever the heck that is. I got to get off there. I don't get it. Anyway, all good. I love you guys. Thank you again for tuning in. Trump is going through court, which is a thrill. I might have mentioned that. And I can't stop talking about it. It is definitely at the top of mind in a good way. Trust me, it's a good way. All right, you guys, enjoy this story from Katie Love.
Why, thank you, Christine. Wow, that's like, I like to hear the sound of applause in my own mind. That really sets me up to tell a story. I have a lot of favorite stories from the whole Jehovah's Witnesses years. Just a lot of funny things because while it is tragic to grow up in a cult, there were a lot of funny stories. And just recently I put up a bunch of pictures of my anniversary. It was January 14th, would have been I don't even know how many years, like 20 something years. It would have been my anniversary because I was married to one of the sons of an elder in the Jehovah's Witness congregation when I was 16 years old. Now, so everybody was like, I do a lot of single person comedy, so I talk a lot about my love life and my lame sex life and just my overall misfit vibe in the dating world and trying to navigate it and where's my guy kind of thing. And I think that most people thought, that I've been single forever, but yes, I was married. And it is in the book. This chapter is called Teen Bride. And the gist of the story is my family, they were going on a camping trip. And I was supposed to go and stay with a family of one of the Jehovah's Witnesses because apparently I was too young to be by myself. And I had just learned to drive and I was 16. And I don't know why I was on the road by myself. I think that was probably against the law. So there you go. Already breaking the law at 16. But I was driving my Pinto station wagon, the family Pinto station wagon. They were going camping. And I was driving down a long country road by myself, and I was playing music in the car. I believe it was America, and I loved their harmonizing. And I played guitar, and I wanted to be a singer. And my hair was in a big Farrah Fawcett hairdo, and it was blowing all over in this country road. And I was very enamored by my Farrah Fawcett hairdo, and I skidded into the opposite side of the road while I was singing with my Farrah Fawcett hairdo blowing all over. And I scared myself and jerked the car, and I started fishtailing on this country road and ended up in a ditch facing the opposite direction with the entire car crashed around me except the driver's seat. I clawed my way out of this ditch and stood there and looked at it. And I was like, well, thank God I was athletic at the time and I was able to claw my way out of this ditch because that would take some upper body strength that I don't have anymore. Anyway, so I'm standing on the side of the road trying to figure out what I'm going to say that no, I didn't get in a car accident and completely demolish the car because I was looking at my Farrah Fawcett hairdo instead of driving. Absolutely not. And so I was trying to figure this whole thing out, what I was going to say. And up comes this farmer and his grandson, a local farmer and his grandson. They did not speak English, and they kept asking me questions, and I figured it out. They were asking me if I was okay. And I just gestured, and I got in the truck with these two, and they drove me back to our little country house. And my sister was like, what has happened? Because I lived with my sister. My mother died when I was 9, and I went in to live with my sister, and she was studying with the Jehovah's Witnesses. So that's how I became a Jehovah's Witness. It was sort of an inherited kind of religion. Anyway, they still went camping. I was bruised from head to toe, and she said, you have to go stay with someone who we can trust. I went to stay with that person, and while I was with them, staying there while my family went camping, my ex-husband came over, and he had noticed me in the congregation before. It was the first time that he got to sit down and talk to me. So we started chatting, and after that, we started quasi-dating. But here's the funny thing about dating as a Jehovah's Witness. It's not really dating. If you hold hands as a Jehovah's Witness, your next step in their mind is fornication. So you better get married. There's no gray area. If you're attracted to someone, you're going to marry them. It's because they have this attitude that it's like, if you're attracted to someone, then, you can't be alone with that person and you have to be chaperoned. And here I am, I'm 16 with my giant Farrah Fawcett hairdo, my big boobs, and my hopeful blue eyes. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. And I was just such a kid and yet an old soul at the same time because I'd lost my mother really early, and she was an alcoholic. She died from suicide. It was an interesting way to grow up. Had a lot of challenges. So here I am, I'm 16, and I had to go to the judge. We had to go to a judge to ask for permission to get married. That's how young we were. And just recently someone asked me, well, how old was he? I said, oh, he was 21. And they're like, isn't that statutory rape? And I go, yeah, maybe that's why we had to go in front of a judge. That could be it. But it was so funny, the reaction that I got from everybody when I put these pictures up on Facebook, like, you were married 16, but I look back on it and it feels like I was 40. It was like I grew up so fast. So this marriage lasted like 3 years.
Wait a second. Where did he ask you to marry him? How soon after you met him when you were staying with the family?
So I would say it was like 6 months later, and we had a very controlled courtship, lots of chaperones, and moments that we could steal away were heavy makeout sessions where we were like, good thing we're getting married. We're about to fornicate. And it's crazy. It's called puberty, folks. But anyway, so it was about 6 months, but he asked me to marry him at Lake Berryessa. And here's an interesting moment. This should have been a clue. We were sitting at this thing called a book study that Jehovah's Witnesses do every Tuesday night, and they pick a particular one of their editorialized, ridiculous books. And so it's a smaller group, and it's held at someone's house, which was held at his parents' house. He's sitting next to me, and he crosses his leg. And on the bottom of his shoe, Christine, he had written, Katie is a fox. Now, the metaphor of that, and this is the man, and that was the night, I think that was the night where he said, after the book study, it was like after the book study, he said something like, I'm going to take Katie for a little drive or whatever. And there was like this knowing smile, and it was a beautiful sunset. And we went up to Lake Berryessa, and he pulled the ring out of his pocket and asked me to marry him. What am I going to say? I mean, he just wrote a lovely message to me, a Hallmark message on the bottom of his shoe. So of course, what am I going to say?
Yeah,
but
you really don't have a choice.
And I mean, that kind of romance, what can you say? So, so we got married, and then we basically kind of backed out of the religion. Neither one of us really wanted to be in it. And so we stopped going to all their meetings, and he was the son of an elder, which did not go over well with his family. And we moved to a different little city, like, 2 cities away from the city we were living in, which was Vacaville, and we moved to Fairfield. So it was like 1 or 2 cities away. And, I didn't even have my own car yet. I didn't know how to drive a stick shift. I was just like this kind of country kid. And we lived out in the country. So I went from living in Oakland, California, where I grew up in the Bay Area, into the country when my sister went through her Laura Ingalls Little House on the Prairie phase and decided that we should all live in the country and eat all natural foods, which was a total drag. And then when I got married, I went and lived in a quasi city. I would call it a burb city, but across the street was a 7-Eleven. So I went across the street every day and I got junk food because I'd never had junk food before. And I had nothing to do. We had one television. There's something wrong with the color thing, and it only had a purple screen. And I watched soap operas all day long and ate weird junk food from 7-Eleven, promptly gained 30 pounds and realized I was really unhappy.
Wow. So you guys didn't have kids?
We did not have children, no. But we lasted about 3.5 years, and then I got a personality. And interestingly enough, I've always been a writer. Like, from as far back as I can remember, I was always writing. I was doing books for my mother and stapling them on the side and handing them to her as, gifts, and writing about people in our family, making stories up and making stories about Barbies. And I was always a storyteller. When I got married to him, I did not write one word, not one poem, not one sentence for 3.5 years. I felt like something just sort of like got stifled and died inside me. And I'll tell you, it was such an interesting time to be married. And as soon as I said I wanted a divorce, which you're not supposed to do in the religion, then I was told, well, you're defiling the marriage bed. And so in God's eyes, you're still married. So you'll have to wait for him to do something to defile the marriage bed. So you're not really divorced in God's eyes. So I spent the next 10 years celibate, like waiting for him to get married or for something to happen. Yeah. So I spent my entire 20s celibate. And when I came out of that thing, I was ready to get it on, girl. I was ready to throw down.
How did you finally get out? What was the end? When did you put it behind you?
I put it behind me on my 30th birthday, and I won a trip to the Bahamas. Well, a friend won a trip to the Bahamas, and she decided to take me. And she was a brand new Jehovah's Witness and had heard that I was really fun. So we just became friends, and she said, I wanted to take you on this work trip to the Bahamas. I said, I'm all over it. And this is now my best friend, Veronica. And so we went to the Bahamas, and it was called Paradise Island. Now, why that's funny, and I didn't even realize this until I wrote the book. This is why this is funny. Jehovah's Witnesses, one of their main doctrines is that the way that they present their rhetoric to you about living forever on a paradise earth that's been restored to its original intent, that God always wanted us to live on paradise and live forever. And that's how a lot of times they'll knock on the door. And I remember knocking on the door and someone would answer and I would say, hello, do you have time to share a Bible thought today? Have you ever thought about living in paradise? And that's how the whole conversation would start. So the ironic part was I was leaving the religion on Paradise Island. I finally made it to fucking paradise. And I fornicated this guy's brains out on a white sanded beach in the Bahamas and came home and left my religion after that and lost everyone I knew except a couple of members of my family that were not Jehovah's Witnesses in one day. Every friend, everyone I knew in one day was gone.
Wasn't that great? I told you, anytime you have somebody growing up in a cult, it's going to be pretty interesting. You know, it starts making your life look, not that bad, huh? Not that bad. All right, you guys, again, you can find Katie over on Instagram at Katie Love Writer, and you can follow me over there as well at Storyworthy, at Story Smash, and at My Life in 3 Songs. All right, you guys, thank you again so much for tuning in. I sure appreciate it. And on behalf of Katie Love, make it a Storyworthy week.
Thanks for joining us on the Storyworthy podcast. We'll be back next week with all new stories. Subscribe to Storyworthy on iTunes and visit the Storyworthy website at storyworthypodcast.com.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
When you download the Kroger app, you have easy access to savings every day. Get the most out of weekly sales and receive personalized coupons to save on your favorite items, all while earning 1 fuel point for every $1 spent. Kroger makes it easy to save while you shop, whether it's in-store or online, so you get the most value out of every trip, every time. Download the Kroger app now to save big on your next purchase. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Must have a digital account to redeem offers. Restrictions may apply. See site for details.